everyone, and welcome to the Political Job Interview, where I interview candidates running for election. I'm Vincenzo Calla, the host, and today I take on the role as the boss, giving a job interview to today's candidate, Doug Thompson. Doug is running for election for Ottawa City Council as a candidate for Ward 20, Osgoode. Thank you, Doug, for your time, and thanks for joining me today.
My pleasure. Your work is very interesting, and I like helping out in any way I can.
Well, it's great to have you here and for this municipal election series, and let's get this job interview started.
Perfect.
So as with any good job interview, I'm going to start off with an opportunity to learn more about Doug. Now, a lot of people already know you, but maybe for the people that don't know you, tell me a bit about yourself and your story.
Well, I've had the opportunity to have dual careers. I was an elementary school teacher for 34 and a half years. I got interested in local politics in the former township of Osgoode. And so it was a small township, so I could still teach and work as a township councillor. So I was first elected in 1980, and I stayed with the township of Osgoode 14 years as a councillor, 3 years as the mayor of the township, and in 2000 the city of Ottawa was amalgamated. They took the 11 smaller municipalities and the old city of Ottawa, and amalgamated that all into the current city of Ottawa. So the former township of Osgoode became Osgoode Ward in the new city. In 2000, I ran for the position of councillor for Ward 20 on City Council. I was elected and I stayed there till 2014, and then I retired. I wasn't voted out, I retired. In 2000, when I was the mayor of the township of Osgoode before amalgamation, I went part-time, and then I retired from teaching and devoted all my time to Ottawa City Council. Mary Lynn and I have 6 children together, 7 grandchildren. We live in the beautiful village of Greeley. It's a rural village in Osgoode Ward. And so following my retirement from the city of Ottawa, in 2014, I stayed active in the community. I'm on the Metcalfe Fair Board. I'm a member of the Greeley Legion, Greeley Lions Club, president of the Osgoode Township Museum Board. Now I'm past president of the Greeley Community Association Board of Directors. So I've stayed active following my retirement from politics. And I think that that's one of the reasons that I was interested in getting back into politics, because I kept myself abreast of what was happening in the political realm. And there were a number of things, obviously, that I felt were very important that weren't being looked after as they should be. And so I decided to put my name forward, and here we are. 13 days before the big day, October 24th.
Definitely, and I guess you sort of touched on this already, but why did you? So you've been retired for 8 years from City Council. Why did you come back? Why are you coming out of retirement? Why are you coming back to run for this position again? Is there any specific reason that inspired you to run again?
Well, I think that the residents in our community, not saying everyone, but I think a good number of residents have lost trust in the current city council. We have the LRT debacle. I think we're in some cases laughing stock of the country when you hear about our LRT. Our capital debt is now over $3 billion. It's gone up 100% in the last 8 years. Policing is suspect in the rural areas. our ambulance situation, and this is really, it's really sad and critical. In the city of Ottawa, we now have to date over 1,200 code zeros, which means there are no ambulances available. And two residents in the last couple of months in Osgoode Ward have had to wait over 6 hours for an ambulance to take them to the hospital. And so these things prompted me, and people looked to me to get back in to help resolve some of those issues. And I think, Vincent, that in any work, in any job, if you can't do the job, then maybe you need different people. And this current council's had 4 years to fix the LRT, and they haven't done it. So why would you reward them with another 4 years? And so that's and seeing this, and having what I consider quite a passion for politics, prompted me to put feelers out, and I was encouraged by a great number of people to seek re-election to City Council.
Let's talk about the job and what you bring to it. So I know you had been in the realm of Osgoode politics for a number of years, and I wanted to ask you what experience you bring to this job, and maybe some specific experience on some stuff that you did do during your time as councillor.
Well, one of the things that I was very proud of when we amalgamated, we were a rural municipality going into a big city, and so the four, as it turned out, the mayors of the four rural townships were elected as councillors for the new city of Ottawa. And we worked very hard to set up a rural affairs department within the city, and a rural affairs committee that would look after issues in the rural areas. So that was one item that I felt was critical for the rural areas, and so I was very proud of that work. I spent a lot of time on the issue of ambulances. I worked very hard to ensure that we had ambulance covers in the rural areas. We in Osgoode Ward, for example, we had 2 ambulance bays where ambulances were stationed, and as a matter of fact, that's one of the reasons that I touched on earlier. Both those ambulance bays in our ward are closed now, and so you work hard to accomplish something, and then it's taken away, and so I thought that was quite an accomplishment for a rural area to have 2 ambulance bays. I also was instrumental in setting up a community police office in Osgoode Ward, and we had a community police officer, a full-fledged police officer who had office hours and we have a community police station in the village of Greeley, and I think that was very important for our residents. Matter of fact, the community police officer, they took that away from us too in the last 4 years. So I think that those were 4 key things that I felt that I and my colleagues had accomplished for the rural areas. I've also sat on a provincial organization, the Rural Ontario Municipal Association. I was, and that covers all rural municipalities across the province. I was chair of that organization. I was on there for 8 years. I've sat on the South Nation Conservation Authority, which is part of it, that their authority is within the boundaries of the city of Ottawa. So I sat on that board and helped bring some changes to the network of forests and rivers and streams that we have in there. So I worked hard at bringing things together. I feel that I'm a consensus builder, and so I was able to accomplish a number of things that I felt benefited the rural areas and the city as a whole.
And I wanted to ask you, In this race specifically now, what sets you apart from the other candidates? A lot of people may see you and they may say that you're the former counselor and they see that. But besides that, what would set you apart from the others who are running?
Well, and that's an excellent question. I think that the thing that sets me apart is the experience that I bring to the table. Yeah, 31 years in municipal politics. Just because you retire, all that knowledge just doesn't flow out of your mind. And so and I think over my tenure as a local politician, I worked very closely with the residents and community associations to discuss issues that they had and to help to build on those issues or concerns or wants. So I think people take a look at that, and given the issues that we see at City Hall right now, the people I talk to, and not everyone, but the people that I talk to, feel that I could make a big difference on council with experience. And I've been retired from the city council for 8 years, but through my community work, and people ask me quite often, well, how can I get this severance, or what should I do with this drainage ditch, because of my work with them in the past. And so I've kept a close connection with city staff, and so I think that those are the attributes that residents see in me, and hopefully enough of them see that as a very positive thing and support my re-election to city council.
Part of serving as an elected official is serving the people who elect you. So a few questions now about how Doug wants to serve the people.
Yeah.
So I wanted to ask you, what do you want to get done for the people of Osgoode Ward, and just in general, what do you want to get done if you are elected?
Well, I think I mentioned two things. I'd like to get the community police officer back in and have in service hours in our community. I want to get the ambulance system corrected, because it's disgraceful that our residents are being cared for in this fashion, as I mentioned earlier. I think too, we talked about the rural nature of the outlying areas of the city. 80% of the landmass of the city is rural. I think that over the last 4 years that the rurals are being forgotten, not being cared for as much as well as people think they should be. So I think that we have to work hard at reviving the rural aspect of the city, and the roads in the rural areas are disintegrating quite quickly. And so I think that they're disintegrating all over the place, but I think rural areas more so. And I think residents are looking to get more funding, or more funding allocated to the rural areas as part of, everybody pays taxes. So those are the things that I feel are critical as an elected official to work on behalf of your residents. And as I mentioned earlier, I feel I'm a consensus builder, and I think I can work with the residents and their needs. Our rural villages as a group feel that they're forgotten. So I think that we have to take a look at how we can increase their importance in the city, because the rural villages are critical to the future of the rural part of the city, and those villages need as much support as they can get, and that's something that I would hope to bring back to those villages.
Now, the next question is one we already kind of touched on, which is what's one accomplishment that you've achieved that demonstrates why you'll be a good elected official? But maybe on that note, you can talk about if you can, maybe talk about the accomplishments that you had when it came to including those rural villages when you were a city councillor.
Well, I think one of the things that I'm very proud of is that I think it was 2004. We had a lady in the village of Greeley who suffered a heart attack. There was a mix-up with the ambulance call, and they did finally arrive, but she passed away, and the family was very upset. And so on my own, I wrote a letter to the coroner of Ontario saying, explaining the issue and saying that things should be done. And the coroner set up a coroner's inquest, came to Ottawa, set up a coroner's inquest for, I think it was a week or 6 days. And they made a number of recommendations on how to improve the ambulance system. So I felt good about that because it's not easy to get a coroner's inquest. And I felt it was important and worked my way through it and was able to accomplish that. For the rural villages, I think there've been a number of achievements there. We have we have probably 5 main villages now, and our ward has expanded, so it's going to be 2 more villages become part of Osgoode ward. But I think the development of parkland within the villages, bicycle paths, we've worked hard at. We have 2 new fire stations during just at the end of amalgamation, or just prior to amalgamation. We've got a new library in Greeley during my term at City Council. We also built a multi-use pathway on an old railway line, 22 kilometers that runs through Osgoode ward, and that was a joint effort of the federal, provincial, and the city government. And I was, matter of fact, I was the one that brought forward this idea and was able to bring it through to fruition.
Thank you, Doug, so much for joining me today.
Well, this has been a pleasure. We have an all candidates debate tonight, so you're sort of it's like a mock debate in a way, because I'm sure I'm going to get some of those questions tonight. But thanks for doing this. I really appreciate it, and it's good to see this type of thing being done, because I think politics is a very important part of our, whether it's municipal, provincial, or federal. And for you to do this, I think it helps people get more interested and more aware of what's happening. So thank you very much.
Well, thank you so much. It was great having you along with so many other municipal candidates, just getting in the municipal politics, getting down in the grassroots, and learning about all the candidates, including yourself. So it was great having you. If the viewers enjoyed hearing what you have to offer to them, I'm sure they have enjoyed hearing that. Election day is the 24th of October. So if you liked hearing what Doug Thompson had to say and live in Ward 20 Osgoode, you have the opportunity to vote for him on election day. Check with the local election officials for more details. To stay updated, follow me on Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok at BC Productions 25. Check out my website, VincenzoCalla.com. Make sure to like, subscribe, and choose to get notifications here on YouTube. The Political Job Interview is a VCalla production. So until the next video, I'm Vincenzo Calla, signing out.